Hello, everyone. Today we are doing New Year's painting with a wish, and we're gonna start with a pencil drawing as usually, and then we're gonna color it. The idea that we have is that we're gonna have a window, and here is gonna be the place under where we're gonna place a mug with some hot tea or hot chocolate maybe. And then we're gonna do some other stuff around in the window and around. So first you choose how much of window and the place at the bottom you're gonna have. So maybe a bit less than 1/3. Then we can do the window. And then again, you can choose. So composition, we remember, is important. So if we place it like right in the middle, it might be a bit, too boring. So it's always good to place it a bit. So maybe like we're not looking straight in the middle of the window, but a bit like cut it. So I'm gonna do double line here, and then maybe here. And it's also fine if your lines are not perfectly straight. It gives also nice touch to the painting. And so when we want to do the mug, so it's important. So we remember that the cup, of course, it has circle, but when we are looking circle in the perspective, it becomes the ellipse. And the main rule drawing ellipses is avoiding making sharpy edges. So in this corner, so this is like, it should be like really more. This is the, so for drawing the cup, try to make. And then we're gonna have one at the bottom. So you choose any space. Again, can be in the middle, can also cover a little bit the window like that. And drawing ellipses is definitely making many lines. So it's not just like one rigid line. It's like you move your pencil also a little bit in the air, and you're like searching for this shape. And of course, then let's say you raise the lines that you say, okay, these are extra, and then till you are happy with your ellipse. And once you are happy, then you go just at the edges of your ellipse, you go with the straight lines up. And then you choose how high should the mug be. Here is already the question of proportions, the width and the height of the mug. And when you say, okay, this could be the height, then what you actually need to do, you need to kind of copy and bring this ellipse again at the top. Sometimes, so I'm going to show you now another, let's say, maybe way to do this ellipse. It's also drawing it in parts. So you can start just by saying, okay, this is the width, more or less the same. And then you can do the edges. So instead of drawing all at once, you draw in parts, and then you just kind of connect what's missing. Yeah. And basically, this is drawing the cylinder. And cylinder, as we remember, is one of the three main figures in art. Let's say that any object around us, you can separate and have it either in sphere, in cube, or in cylinder. If you look at the human, if you're drawing human, and it can be the neck, the arms, the legs are the cylinder. And then, of course, you clean the lines you don't need. So this is the line of the window, it's behind, and one of the lines of the bottom. And then you have, and it becomes not transparent. You can also have your mug transparent. So, okay, then we have a handle. Again, now it's your choice according how the drawing already looks on your side, where to place the handle, left or right. You can also place it maybe like if you say, nah, none of them are good. So I'll show. So for example, I say, just here, like easy. On one side. And here, for example, I'll show you if I want inside the mug. Inside the mug, then I'm just placing here. So you can choose. So here, I'm going to raise one of them. I'm still, yeah, waiting. Yes, Ellie. Yes, good girl. So give me a sign. And I'm rushing. So I've decided I'm going to keep the handle inside the cup. Somehow I like it better. And one more thing about the mug. And in general, it's important in anything we draw are the thicknesses. So for example, at the moment, my mug looks a little bit like made from the paper. It looks like doesn't have the thickness. So what should I do? I need to create here at the top where the opening is. I need to create kind of like a double line. Yeah, so I'm just kind of doing the one more like repeating the line, but more inside. And later we're gonna do it a bit different color. We're gonna do it lighter. And then we're gonna have the feeling of that, you know, it has a thickness. And the same with the handle. So it doesn't matter where you choose, that your handle is on the side or in front. Like the side that you see, you also add this double thin line. And then at once it makes everything look more realistic. So this is something, remember, thicknesses are important. Even if you are drawing a piece of paper, even paper thin will have a thickness. Cool. For the rest, I would say it's already the choice of each of you. So what you want to have behind the window should be the trees. Maybe it's going to be snowman. I think I like the idea of the snowman and the tree. And if you want, you can also maybe, if you say, oh, I have too much space left here at the bottom, maybe you can place some cookie. So something tasty, or maybe it's going to be a little present. So you can also share your ideas, and maybe we do it together. Or we each do our own, and then we see. Yeah, of course, with the cup, the cookie looks like more logical. But for example, it can be also a little box, you know, like a little present box. I think I will do the box, because then in the box, I will place my thoughts of the wish for this year. It will be like symbolic. So here we can also place 2025 on a cup. And for example, so if you want to draw the numbers in the cup, so they kind of follow the cup, you can very lightly do here, again, the lines that looks like ellipse a bit, and then you follow them. So you see, I'm going to show you this trick. So I did those. And now I'm doing my numbers inside them. So then I already kind of follow. So then it means one number is going to be higher, one number is going to be lower. And yeah, and then later those construction lines I can erase.
Something looks like weird about my handle on the bottom. Like,
your handle looks very nice. I mean, yeah, maybe just like place this part a bit higher. So maybe just this one that looks that maybe you're not happy. Making it a bit higher, but your handle looks like really cool. I like it even better than mine. I like the handle in itself. Yeah, good job, Ellie. Later we're gonna do those white transparent lines is a steam that something hot is in a cup, but we can do it so. But we definitely don't need to draw them with a pencil. It's gonna look nicer just with a brush. We can think on maybe we want the moon to be outside, so maybe it's the evening. And you can also think maybe the moon can be big, you know, like almost like it's sitting inside your window. For example, I'm doing it here, like a huge moon. It's like, wow, huge moon entering my window, and then I can make the wishes for the new year, for example. And then also like the idea that someone maybe it's a cat outside, maybe he's looking inside the window, or no man. I like the idea with a cat. Cats always are cute. Yeah, you can share, girls, what are your ideas for the other part? Yeah, or maybe you have a space and there is a cat sleeping inside. Okay, it's like I already don't have so much space left. But, I think for me it will be enough having a huge moon, because it's already kind of also a hero. So if I'm going to be putting a cat or snowman behind, then I think it's going to be too much. And then it's also good to limit the main so I think I'm going to just make some trees behind. So but they're like more neutral. They just give the feeling of the landscape. And then just some bigger, smaller. And then later I put also snow on them. So they also look maybe some like some a bit bigger. Okay. And then I think but then I still like the idea of the box with the present. So then I'm going to draw a box. So again, easy way to draw a box. You start with just with the like vertical line, and then you connect the diagonals. But then here it's important, and you follow that your diagonals are more or less parallel. Yeah, there is also perspective rule that maybe my box will be a bit on top of the cup, so then it connects. And then I'm going to draw Then the box is gonna have my wish. And I don't know, maybe later I'm gonna write on the other side of the paper, I'm gonna write this wish. And then maybe in the next year, if I find my drawing, I can see was the wish, did it happen or not? Yeah. And the box is merely symbolic, so it doesn't mean my wish needs to fit in. So if I'm dreaming of the new bicycle, it can also be the wish inside the box. It's more just about like to think. Maybe I don't want nothing materialistic. Maybe my wish is to improve my artistic skills. Yeah? So this can also be the and so here I did the box. But if you want to see it closer, and then I'm missing still the like here the part on top where you make it like cream. No, but this would be. So what I did the box. If you want me to repeat it, let me know, girls. Yeah, I can repeat the box if you didn't manage to. And then here I make those. And what else we shouldn't forget are the shadows. So here again, we need to decide from which side we have more light. So we have a moon, the moon gives light. So in case then in my room it's dark inside, then I'm gonna have the shadow more inside. So then from the moon, I'm gonna have the shadow of the cup inside. In case I have, let's say I'm inside, my light is on, then probably the room is brighter, then the shadow will be more to the other side. Yeah. I'm gonna try create the effect that these are the shadows from the moon. Yeah? So then it's kind of, and here then it will be also the lighter part here. Then. And here also forgot I made the double line for the bottom of the window. Of course, connected. Yeah, and once the girl's ready, we can go for the paints. Please also share. I'm curious to know what you have outside the window and in front. And another thing, so if you also have the moon, so before we move to the water and paint, I advise you to lighten up the moon a bit, pencil. So we're gonna make it yellow, and then we're gonna make it a bit of the white around it. And then we're gonna make the dark sky. And like this, we're gonna manage that the moon is shining. Yeah. And I suggest we also start with the moon because it's the lightest. And like this, we're also gonna have the sky, and then we're gonna also let it dry a bit, and then we can come back and make white snow on top. I also made a bit light here around the cup where I did the thickness, because it's also going to be lighter. And let's say even if I say, okay, my cup, I want it to be red, then this thickness I'm going to make like pink. Yeah? And then that's the way it's going to be working. Yeah? And of course, you blow away all the rest of the rubber, so nothing is in between. Because once there is water, they stick, and yeah, it's hard to remove them. So I say yellow is first, and we're gonna have white, and then we're gonna have, I would go with the dark blue. And in this case, we can just make, with one dark blue, we can also make the transition from light to dark. Because if we're trying to make the moon shine, yeah, this is how it works. Then the light should go slowly from light to dark. Yeah, you let me know, girls, when you're ready to start.
I'm ready.
Very nice. What's on your drawing, Ellie? What's behind the window?
I have a big tree, and then I'm gonna do fireworks.
Oh, that's an awesome idea. I like it. What
And I
about
also
you? Okay, and then I'm excited to see your drawings once they're ready. Yeah, definitely fireworks. That's a good idea. But okay, I already went for the huge moon. So first, clean brush, clean water, and that's the moment when we work with the lightest color. And I'm doing kind of intense yellow, because the moon, I want to be also one of the heroes. And the cup is the hero, and the moon. Well, the box as well, but then I will have to choose a bit, like what's more important. Maybe the box will be more important than the cup. Hard to say. What I do here, I paint my moon just yellow. Yeah, maybe you have a full moon, maybe it's a circle. Yeah, I did that. And once your moon is done, you clean well the brush as you're moving to the white. And then you kind of do the white layer around the moon. It's fine if the white touches a bit the yellow and kind of, you get a bit of yellow on the white. So then it also will create a feeling of them. Yeah, so first you can go with the brush carefully around your moon with the white. And as a second go, you can kind of halfly touch the yellow so that then you create a very, a little transition between yellow and white. But still the borders we have white, so then we're going to be using blue. And this is going to be also kind of our safe zone for the blue, not to touch the yellow, because if we touch, then it's going to be green. We don't want to really have the green. Take your time to finish this step. I'm just going to talk about the second step. The second step we're going to do with the blue. And as I just straight away take the dark blue, but still we're going to need to make the transition from light to dark. The darkest blue going to be like the more far away from the moon, the possible. And then we remember there are two ways to make the color lighter. Either you use white paint, or you can simply use water. In this case, I'm going to just use water. So you put the blue on your palette, and then one part of it you make really watery. You just dip your brush into the water and bring some water drops next to your blue. Then you make it watery. And with this, you're going to start again, where our white of moon has ended. I'm going to start. And then if it's still too dark, let's say mine one I find a bit too dark, I quickly go to the water and just with the watery clean brush, I create them. And here I can also go on top of my window. It's fine, because the window is going to be darker, especially since I decided that the main light is going to be the moon, or in fireworks in your case. So then the frame of the window going to be looking, and then I can slowly get close to the moon. But the way it shines, then you definitely need to make other parts darker. And in this case, I already don't need so much water on my brush. I need more paint. And then I take the darker blue I can. And I start from the side from the further side. And then I move slowly. And then I also try to blend in. So And really, don't worry about the window frame at the moment. Work the best you can on those transitions. Yeah, the window frame we make dark. We take dark brown and we just put on top, and it's. I mean, of course, if you can skip. I can leave it white, but it's also fine. Also, don't worry if you get with a bit of blue on top of the trees. Still, the tree is also gonna be dark, like dark green. It's gonna be fine. And cover them. Yeah. And another classical tip: to remember, while the paint is wet, it's kind of moving. So if you say, "Oh, I want to make it darker," that doesn't work. It means you just need to give it a few minutes to dry, and then it's much easier to go on top and make it darker. I go with the second layer. Making those color transitions, yeah, it's something that you keep on mastering. Yeah, but of course, it's the technique that every painter practice and then use, because then in different paintings you need it. Like drawing the sea, the sky, yeah. And here it's all the question about amount of paint and how watery is your brush. And sometimes you want to add a bit more water, sometimes the opposite. You want it to be a bit dry and so on. And this is something like just the more you practice it, the better you become, because it also depends what kind of paints you have, kind of paper, and so on. Yeah, and then remember, in this kind of transition parts, very also important, just leave some areas to dry first, and then go on top trying to improve it. You know, because if it's still wet, your brush is going to be kind of still moving the paint. Yeah, and then it becomes hard, and then it becomes even worse. You know? So just leaving it to dry a bit, and with the second hand, it becomes better. But still reaching like the darkness, at least at one side, is important, because otherwise the moon will not shining. I'm gonna color the trees. And I'm gonna make them pretty much dark, so dark green, so without creating this contrast effect. So the sky is dark, so it's night, so the trees also, they should be very light. If I want later, I'll put some snow on top. If my painting looks too dark. So you can even mix a bit your green with blue, or so it's kind of, so the trees are definitely not the main heroes in this painting, so they should be there, but just as background, not bringing too much attention to the viewer. So I made my trees also pretty much dark. And once you feel you're kind of ready to move for the cup and the present, then it's also the question choosing colors. So then you need to decide, okay, what color I want my cup to be. Yeah, because then, as we talked, those thicknesses of the cup should be the lighter version of your color. Although, like, the top cylinder should be, the here on top should be lighter, but on the handle, actually, it can be a bit darker. Yeah? Just to keep in mind. For this, of course, the thin brush is nice if you have, then it works. And in this case, placing light color always first always is better. And then the color is also box. I think I'm gonna go with some reddish for the cup. So again, either just as previously with the blue, either you use more water or you use white paint to create a lighter color. This time I'm going to use white paint to create some pink. And with this pink, I'm gonna go around the thickness. And it's also fine. I kind of get inside the cup, around the cup. Now the tragedy is gonna be darker there. And in this case, I think just the upper part of the handle, just here, is gonna be lighter. Yeah? So it doesn't matter which color you choose for the cup. If you choose orange, if you choose blue, green, whatever. So it's going to have its lighter areas and darker areas. And then we also remember that actually, like we say, okay, the moon is shining and gives the lights. Actually, all this area is going to be dark. So then, so first I used pink. Now here already carefully I'm using darker one. Change brushes, go for smaller ones. Easier around all those details. And later I'm gonna put something dark like tea or hot chocolate. It doesn't matter. It's anyway, it's dark brown. So here my edge got a bit too wet, so the red floated in. But while it's still wet, you always have room to correct. And so the thickness of the handle actually gonna do a bit darker. Yeah, so these are like little details, but they make a huge impact on your painting and the way it's seen. And here then I'm gonna mix just with some brown, red, and I'm gonna make the handle a bit darker. One, of course, can go one more step further and make also light and shadow stories there. Like cup in itself can be a very like object that is painted very carefully and can be a long time artwork. You know? So it's Yeah, it's also not easy to draw and to paint in this contour light. And what I mean by contour light, it's called when the light is like shining at you. So the object that you see, like here in the cup, is actually like it's all in the dark. So the light side of the object is the side that you don't see. In this case, we have a cup, and its light side is towards the window. And this technique is very common in photography, because then you get a very beautiful photograph. So I told you all these principles. Just try. It's fine. It doesn't work perfect first time, but so just you are aware of those moments, and then once you keep on practicing, you keep on improving. So you see, I'm also fighting with my cup. It's also not turning out really. Okay, cup wasn't easy. I let it dry, and I think I'm gonna go for brown color to use for the window and for the bottom part. And here I'm gonna use my favorite dry brush technique. So it looks a bit like wood. And here I'm also gonna be mixing. So for the window frame, I'm gonna use also a bit black in the brown, so it's darker. But for the table, it's fine. I'm gonna use just brown. So it's also here the question, because we have like two parts. At the bottom, so we're gonna have the part where the shadows of the box and the cup are, and it's gonna be darker, and the rest is gonna be lighter. So first I'm gonna go with just brown as I have it from the tube, and using a very dry brush technique, I'm gonna cover the table. Let's say this. And I can even go where the shadows are, it's fine. Later I'm gonna go on top with dark. Yeah. So you remember dry brush technique, almost no water on the brush, very dry. And like this, we create those lines. Yeah, and then it looks a bit like a texture. Okay, it can remind us of a wooden texture. And like this, I'm also using that the white of the paper shining through, and then it looks lighter. And for the darker area, so always be careful adding black to the colors. Black is very strong. So you need really a little bit of black, to make your brown dark. Then I can go and make my window. I'm gonna later put the white snow on it, so then it doesn't look like wood. To just carry the brown lines. You're gonna have the beautiful white snow on top, and also with the shadow of the then the question also about the box using colors. This I also selected the last one because this is what I usually do when I'm not sure about the color to use. Then I leave it later, and then once I have other colors, then it's easy for me to choose. But still, I think I'm gonna create something. So the box and the cup should more or less match. It shouldn't be too contrasting. So I'm gonna use also pink for yeah. The box actually looks nice white. I like it. So in this case, I'm gonna create just a bit of the shadow. So maybe like the top of the box, I'm gonna leave white and there's something grayish to be for shadow. Very, very light. And then remember the magic of paper towel. If you put the color, it looks too dark. Then if you're quick, you can still remove it easily with the paper towel. Yeah, make it light. Well, I would say it's, yeah, today wasn't that easy, the drawing. There's lots of details. We have the moon story, making the moon shine. Okay, and then we had the cup story, to make it also look realistic and volumey. And now I've added a bit of darker gray inside, so it looks like let it be the hot. And once you say, okay, I'm done with all the colors, and you want to go and do the snow part, and definitely you need to clean well your brush. Clean well the brush and maybe squeeze a new white. So then it's really, really clean. And I'm going to use white for the steam to make sure that my cup is hot. Oh, and I still have 2025 there. So I think I'm also going to write it with white. And I'm going to put the snow on the window. It looks very nice. So then this black cross will not be so, it's going to be softer. And again, so for example, if you also want to do the numbers, well, actually with any color, the story is that it's thin lines. The secret for long, thin lines with paint, of course, it's thin brush. If you have a small brush, it's a must. But then also make the mix pretty much watery and kind of put your brush like lots of in it inside. Because then it's going to be easier to create the line. Yeah, so dry brush technique definitely doesn't work with these long thin lines. And this is also the moment, remember, like when it's dry, you can go on top with white to any places where you think, okay, I want to correct there is something, and just place white and wait till it's dry, and then you can correct with other color on top. And I'm going to place a bit of the whiteness on the window here on top. And here you can see that it looks the best where the sky is darker. Yeah, so here where the moon is shining, it's not really visible. And of course, it's visible. Yeah. No, definitely makes the mood nice. Free. Oh, and the steam from the cup. So today, definitely not an easy drawing. Very curious about that. I hope you're doing good on your side. Yeah, so I just took with the white and I did white lines. They can be different, maybe you can be more creative and make them in the shape of the heart. I did just the, like, say, in shape, just the vertical. And if they're too, let's say, too white, you can also blend them out a bit. So what I do, I just with the clean but wet brush, kind of remove a bit the border. So then I, well, oh, that was our Christmassy, no, not Christmassy already. It was over. New Year's mood drawing. So I advise you also, once it's dry, maybe like on the back side, you can write your wish. And then if you hang it on the wall, then no one sees your wish. But then next year, You, believe me, will already forget what was there, but then you can take off your drawing and take a look. And yeah, see what you have wished and if it came true. Nice. Her drawing done. Let's take off the paint. You take your time to finish, no rush. Taking off the tape is always nice. It becomes clean and beautiful. Nice, I'm happy with drawing. Maybe a bit more touch-ups of the trees. And from the maybe the dark over. Okay, I think the trees was the least successful part of my painting. But it's always like this. Some areas become full and some areas are not. So, oh, I'm making it worse. Um, okay, go it this way.
Done.
Yay, very excited to see how it worked on your side. Let me share